actually really do like these models. I saw the renders for them. They're really cool.
I think they're... I mean, basically they're the performers of the guild.
Yeah.
They're going to be something that they take a lot as a solid 4-point scheme runner.
Yeah, and very interesting. So the field reporters, they're minions, they're living, and they've got the journalist and woe. Because what do reporters bring to your life? Woe and misery.
Yep.
I don't know.
Even though there's nobody that can infiltrate woes.
I know, right? Because Casey did look this up, and we're just like, yeah, there's no one that can bring woes in. It's like,
and nobody in the guild who has anything to affect that. So
you heard it from us first. Maybe next time there's gonna be like some kind of woe master.
Yeah, or if they ever release some like new upgrades for masters, that could be something they just give to Pandora. Here, infiltrate woes.
Yeah.
You mean reporters? Yes.
Soul-crushing reporters. So the stat line is very... Actually, 5
for a 4-point minion.
Yeah,
not bad.
Like kind of Tengu stat.
Literally 5s across the board with no charge.
No charge, range, and height too. So 5 across all the stat line. They have unimpeded. They're disguised. They have manipulative 12, which is really... Because performers are paying 5 stones, and they're manipulative 12 as well, right?
I believe they're 12, yes.
They're 12. So you're paying 1 stone less. And then... So that's pretty much what the field reporter is.
Yeah, and they've got disguise to begin with. That is...
And disguise, right?
Awesome.
I forgot what the disguise, yeah.
Just so you can't charge them, and when you do reach the range, if they haven't activated, you've got manipulative to deal with.
And then... So what they have is for their one attack action, it's exclusive interview. It's a casting 5 with a masks built in. Target enemy model.
And it must declare triggers.
This action must declare triggers. So very similar to kind of like Gremlins.
So
let's go with the built-in.
Yeah.
They're on to you. Run.
They're on to you.
Run. After succeeding, push the target up to 5 inches away from the spawn. Wow.
So
even more pushes.
Right. If they fail their casting 5 versus willpower, your automatic thing that you can always choose is to push them 5 inches away from you.
So it's a push is a push, man. I mean,
it's you don't have too much control, but yes, it's great for just making somebody freak out.
Honestly, be really annoyed playing against a Nelly with like, heck, even a regular guild player with field reporters.
Yeah, I took 3 field reporters because they're amazing scheme runners for 4 points.
Yeah. And the other triggers are, which is atones under scrutiny. After succeeding, the target gains the following condition until end of turn. Under scrutiny, this model suffers a -2 to all attack actions it makes. This model may end this condition by discarding 2 cards at the start of this activation, or taking a 1 interact action, which,
to place a scheme marker specifically.
To place a scheme marker. So, Casey, who likes to have opponents doing scheme? Oh, Nelly, right? More evidence.
Yeah, so that helps. They can either do that. So that's the under scrutiny.
Yeah, and then with a crow, it pretty much gives the target incessant questions, which gives the target slow. Assault in public, which is
that's the one I was just like, that's hilarious. Assaulted in public.
After succeeding, the target gains the following condition until end of the game. Assault +2. When this model activates, it suffers +2 damage at the end of this action.
And ends this condition. So here's the funny thing. Because it's assaulted +2, you can stack up assaulted on the same target.
Nice.
And it will take whatever the value of assaulted is.
That's really cool. I like that. So it's like, alright, I'm going to put so pretty much, okay, you're going to go after my field reporter? Alright, you're going to get assaulted +2. So anything that's hitting you, +2 damage.
Well, no, it's when they activate.
Oh, it's
when
they
take 2.
Oh, is it?
So what it is, it's like burning or poison that triggers when you activate. So it's like burning. It all happens at once, and it happens when you activate. So a few, like if there's a thing and it only has a few wounds left, the reporters will do their interview, get you assaulted, and you'll take the damage as soon as you activate.
In theory, actually, what you can do, like, okay, I'm about to lose my field reporter. All right, I'm going to cheat this one, Rams. You're going to take 2 damage.
Well, you do have to hit.
You're right. Sorry, it's not a defense trigger.
Right.
I'm brain farting really bad.
Right.
So you still have to, yeah, I mean.
But still, it's one of those.
And then to tactical actions, which is.
So honestly, as far as damage goes, assaulted in public generally isn't that good. Mm-hmm. It's kind of nice that for getting past things like armor, it will stack up multiple. Yeah. However, most of the time, the reporters, their ability to give out slow or push you or even under scrutiny.
Yeah.
Penalties to all attack actions until you get rid of it. Oh my god! Like that's
Oh.
the stuff you're really
Langston. Oh, but yeah, but it's still like if you
like
really...
assaulted in public is good for that. Yeah. Oh, this model only has 1 or 2 wounds left.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it assaulted in public to finish it off.
I can't infiltrate it. Damn it.
Nope. Journalists and woe is the only thing.
I know. I was like oh, because I saw the field reporters. I was like, yeah, I can bring it into Tin Thunders. We want more pushes. Like, oh no, they're not guardsmen. God damn it.
Then it's got tactical actions.
Oh yeah, tactical actions. So one of them is corroborating evidence. Corroborating evidence. Target an enemy's ski marker. Place a ski marker in base contact with it, and then discard the target.
So they've got. It's similar to the seduction that performers have. Mm-hmm. But it needs a 9 to cast.
Is the seduction farther for?
Yes, it's at least 8 or 10 inches, maybe even 12. So it's longer range. But here's the thing: seduction only removes the marker and then does a pulse that could debuff you. Yeah. This one replaces theirs with yours. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about that. So, you're forced to place a ski marker, and then I'll swap it later if I have a reporter alive.
Okay. And then what's this other? And then it has a 0, which is reference to the field guide. This model discards a card. And that's
where exclusive interview comes in.
Okay.
And here's the thing.
Wait, isn't there a field guide with the Fry Corps?
Yes, they have the exact same reference the field guide. So does not you. I can't remember his name. The other sniper, the enforcer.
Trapper?
No.
Oh, Hans.
Hans has referenced the field guide, and so so they can always discard a card to ensure that they'll get that suit the rest of the turn. Either if you want to do lots of pushes, or that's where assaulted in public. You were talking about discarding a ram. Well, that one of rams can go towards making sure you get assaulted every time, or making sure that you get the under scrutiny against multiple, or incessant questions against multiple people.
So, the field reporters, back to like we were saying, probably always going to be in another crew, but I think they're just really good in general for four soul stones.
Four soul
ability
stones.
To push.
The only thing they lack is that keyword synergy. They're not witch hunters, they're not marshals, they're not guardsmen, but aside from that, they're just really solid 4-point scheme runners.
Oh yeah, and
they're not actually the funny thing. They're not quite as fast as the orderlies, or like walk 6 unimpeded. But the fact that they have more built-in defenses,
but they're also
manipulative,
Oh yeah,
disguise.
Like if you if you really want to kill a field reporter, you're probably going to kill it. With this, how the stat line is, but like if you have to spend, you're probably going to have to spend some resources.
I mean, you can't charge it, manipulate. Well, that's the thing. You say you're probably going to kill it, but you know what? There's a lot of things. The fact that you have to walk up to it, it's going to be.
All right, we're back.
That pretty much finished Field Reporter.
Yeah, we just finished the Field Reporter. The battery died, so I had to change it out. But pretty much talking about how it's a solid minion. And to deal with it, if you want to take it out, you're going to have to spend quite a bit of resources. Probably worth more than the 4 soul stones worth to kill it. So now we're transitioning into the old man Jenkins of the Death Marshals.
Or Mr. Flaming Skull with a hand coming out of his casket. That's the other model.
See, I love the old man Jenkins. Like the big, burly beard. As you can tell, I'm a beard, or we are beard aficionados.
Yes, the Death Marshal recruiter.
They really do love their Death Marshal models. And because in the last book they had the Forgotten Marshal.
Oh yeah, another Marshal.
So pretty much the Death Marshal recruiter, he's an enforcer. You can have 2 of them.
So yes, enforcer, rare 2, guild marshal, 7 points.
They have a defense, willpower 6, 7 wounds, walk of 5, charge of 7, and height of 2. They have hard to wound.
Yep.
And they have a not today, lads. When another friendly guild marshal within 4 without this ability is killed, it may discard a card. If it does, it is not killed and heals 1 damage.
So yeah, something's about to kill one of your guys. If the Death Marshal is within 4-inch aura, and actually this goes for any model that doesn't have not today, lads, or another friendly marshal.
Marshal.
Guess who's a marshal?
A Oh.
Lady Justice is a marshal.
You can do that with Lady Justice.
So if Lady Justice is within 4 inches when she's about to die, you can discard a card. Not today, lads! And then they do it again. They're about to kill Lady Justice because she only has 1 hit point. Not today, lads, as long as you have cards to discard.
Just ditching cards to keep her alive.
Of course, that's, an if situation. Basically kill the recruiter first.
Yeah, then.
But, of course, if you're killing a recruiter instead of Lady Justice, that's pretty bad. That's pretty brutal. And then Sight Beyond the Veil.
Oh, when this model declares an attack, it may discard a card. If it does, it may target buried models with the attack regardless of range and line of sight.
So that's pretty much what he's going to do. Actually, it's kind of weird. He doesn't have Pine Box.
Yeah.
He does have a way to bury things, but he himself doesn't Pine Box. So if another marshal has Pine Box something, he can stab it.
I'm going to punch it in the box. So very kind of Terra-esque, where she can...
Well, actually, I guess shooting it might even be better. Because it does do slightly more damage.
Oh, God.
Or no, it doesn't have critical strike built in, so the sword is better.
So you would go with critical
because it's. But anyway, so right, and then we get 2 of their attacks.
Their attacks per transition.
Recruiter's
sword, melee 6, resist defense. Its range is 1.
But if this ignores range.
Yeah, so it's like okay.
If you're attacking buried, you'll ignore range.
Yeah. Target suffers 2, 3, 4 damage. It has crit strike.
With 1 ram built in.
With 1 ram built in. Glimpse of the Void. After damaging, if no other models are buried, the target must make a target 13 willpower duel or become buried. The next time a model in play is killed, unbury the target in base contact with the killed model, then remove it.
Before removing. So that's the Glimpse of the Void is the thing Terra has all the time. Mm-hmm. So if he gets a Tomes after damaging, you get a willpower duel, or he buries you, if there's no other buried models.
Yes.
And so even if he hits and gives you Glimpse of the Void, he can then make another attack from beyond the veil and stab you anyway.
Oh, man.
So that's him having Glimpse of the Void is really weird. Yeah. It almost feels like it's tacked on to give him a way to bury things since he doesn't have it on one of his, he doesn't have an attack to do it. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's a cool little thing.
And he comes with a Joe Schmo Peace Bringer, which is...
pretty good shooting.
Shoot 6, resist defense, range 10, target suffers 2, 3, 5, crit strike, but not built in.
Right.
And then for tactical actions, Into the Fray, casting 6, target number 12.
Zero action.
Zero action. It's range 18. Push this model up to 5 towards target enemy model. And then with a masks, which it does not have built in.
Give him hell.
Give him hell. After succeeding, target other friendly model engaged with the target may take a 1 attack action. So with other marshals
range. Yeah. So this one doesn't require it to be a marshal anywhere. Mm-hmm. And it's an 18-inch range, and you're just pushed towards them. They don't get to resist. Mm-hmm. And you push towards them, and if they're already engaged and you get the trigger, you even get to give an extra attack.
Yeah.
Again, these guys seems like they're really, really good at helping Lady Justice. Mm-hmm. Oh, look, she engaged with something. I push towards that combat, and I give Lady J another attack. Mm-hmm. And I'm pushing closer to get my aura in.
Yeah, it's I think it is a nice boon to.
So it's definitely good for her. Yeah. Other people can probably find uses for them.
Being pushed.
Just being able, and here's actually the combo with their thing is their other zero action.
Mm-hmm. You have a knack for this. Casting 6, target number 12 with a ramp, not built in.
So you need a 6 of ramps to
succeed. Or higher. Target friendly non-leader model gains the guild marshal characteristic until end of turn.
So they could, let's just take an example. If you took one of these with McMorning, they could say, "Hey, McMorning, you got a knack for this. You're a death marshal now."
Yeah.
And then, not today, lads, will trigger for him.
You could, in theory, give
now that takes your zero action, so you're not able to do the push. Mm-hmm. But you do whichever is useful.
If it's a situation where you're going to be, it might be desperate until end of turn.
That is till end of turn.
Until end of turn. Okay.
So he can't deputize you permanently. He has to activate and do it. But
Terra can recruit death marshals, right?
Regular death marshals, yes.
Can she recruit these death marshals?
No.
No.
Because it's specifically Death Marshals, and these are Death Marshal recruiters. It's not Guild Marshals.
Damn.
So, right, she can't take them.
Because that sweet damage when something is buried. Like, if Tara could get her hands on them, and like, alright, buried.
And it's not like the Void Wretches. They have a special attack. As a, like, I think it's a one action, but it's only like melee 4, and you get to attack it, and it's a special attack that can target buried, and it's really kind of crappy.
Yeah.
Versus Death Marshal Recruiter, you have to discard a card, but they've got a melee 6, basically 3, 4, 5 damage spread that can get even higher if you get another ram.
Yep.
So they can really gut something. Like, if you're looking for something to help counter that opponent that's just always dropping the Killjoy bomb on you, throwing even a single Death Marshal Recruiter to sit there going, alright, I'm going to stab the Killjoy.
Oh my god!
And just force your opponent to drop Killjoy early. A wounded Killjoy. Like,
no, in theory, like in turn 1, oh my god. So turn, like, okay, I know you're playing the Hamlet, and I know for sure you're going to bring Killjoy bomb. I'm gonna bring 2 Death Marshal Recruiters, and I'm just going to kill
my
him.
first 2 actions are going to kill him in the first 2 actions.
Because I mean, he's so easy to hit. So
now, of course, the thing is, if they see that coming, even if you go first, you do the first one, and then they're like, oh shit, alright, sacrifice a rat, pop Killjoy out on my side. But still, they just popped Killjoy out on their side, and they've got to get him across the board. Like, no matter what, it's going to be bad for them.
Yeah. So, like, for you people who do not.
So that's the guild. They don't have to buy Anios like some of the other people.
Yeah, that's actually probably better than Anios.
Hell yeah! 7 points, 14 for 2 of them.
Yeah, like
a much better option.
Yeah. Oh, man, I want them.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're a very interesting model. Like we said,
I don't think they're an auto include.
They've got a niche. They've got a niche use for anybody, and I think they are now auto include for Lady Justice.
Yes.
I don't see her not leaving home without them.
Yeah, because they make marshals so much better. I mean, it helps out.
They just synergize so well with the whole thing.
And the judge.
Even her thing that, like, she has one that brings marshals closer to her. And in the past, the thing was you had the judge and death marshals. Like, the lone marshal often didn't want to push towards you. He's a shooty guy. Yeah. Now you've got death marshal recruiters. They're an awesome marshal for that.
Oh yeah, they're really good damage dealers too. With the crit strike with their sword.
Right. They've basically
sure they lose some of the boxing ability, but then like if you run some death marshal in your boxing,
I mean they're just they're pretty solid. Yeah. Like there's plenty of times that you want to box something, but you're like, do I just keep it boxed? How do I get rid of it?
And then it gets out, and then now I have to deal with it.
Now recruiters can help you at least wound it while it's in the box, if not kill it. Yeah. All right, so that covers them pretty thoroughly.
And then we've got the Witchling Thrall. I love that.
So you know how you're always taking the Dawn Serpent with McCabe and Tin Thunders? Yeah. I think this is McCabe's Dawn Serpent for the guild.
For the guild?
So they're a minion living, technically a witch hunter. They're 9 points.
I wonder who's going to want to take a 9-point minion.
Well, we'll get to that in the abilities. There's so defense willpower 5, so kind of low for a 9-pointer.
12 wounds.
12 wounds. That's 3 above their cost. So
a walk of 5, a charge of 8, height 2, so your average height.
They have impossible to wound. So
oh my god, chopping through 12 wounds with impossible to wound.
Right, you're going to need high minimum damage. Even Langston, if he misses once, can't get rid of him. He has to flurry and hit all 3 times.
But if he does,
or trigger the thing where you kill him outright. Now here's beyond terror, beyond pain. Like they're just so. This model automatically passes horror duels regardless of the duel total. So that's important for Lucius because when Lucius walks, he can have a model take a terror duel, and if they pass the horror duel, they get to take a 1 action. Well, anything that's immune to horror duels doesn't take it in the first place. They don't pass it, they just don't take it.
Yeah.
Whereas the Witching Thralls, oh look, I flipped a 1. I flipped the Black Joker, I still passed it.
Yeah.
And so Lucius can just keep walking and they'll just walk along with him or attack you while he does circles.
Oh man, so he can't be
Or he can't be with that. Horror duels just don't work on him.
yeah.
He will pass them all the time.
Prone to frenzy. Once per turn, after another model places a ski marker within 4, this model may take a 1 attack action. Oh wow!
After the current
action. So Casey, what is a model that makes somebody drop ski markers?
Oh, maybe Nelly?
Nelly?
Lucius?
Lucius?
Right.
Oh man, Lucius.
So yeah, and that's another. Like Lucius can. One of his things is he targets a minion.
Yeah.
And they take a 1 action and then then take an interact action.
Mm-hmm.
So he could totally, first he does it on the Witchling Thrall, and he either moves them into contact or he gives them an attack. Then he does it on a different model. That model drops a ski marker within 4 of the Thrall. Now the Thrall gets another attack. Now it's once per turn.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so again, they're very solid with Lucius.
And now to the fun part. Attack actions. One is Chain Fist.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not a Chain Fist from 40k. It's literally a chained fist. We're looking at the picture right now. It's melee 6 with a built-in tome. Resist defense range 2. Target suffers 3, 4, 6 damage. 3, 4, 6 damage.
Pretty hefty.
So with the built-in tome, you get 2 options, and both of them are tomes. Essence Drain. After succeeding against a model with a willpower 6 or higher, heal 2 damage on this model.
Yep.
And then there was a Etheric Overload.
Yeah.
After succeeding against a model with a willpower of 5 or lower, the target must discard a card if able. So you have 2 options
if they're well, it's not really an option. It's depending on the enemy.
Yeah, depending on the enemy.
If they're high willpower, 6 or above, you're gonna heal damage for hurting them.
Mm-hmm.
If they're 5 or lower, they're discarding cards after you hurt them.
They're ditching, yeah.
So, and actually both are after succeeding. So even if the damage is reduced to 0,
you're
it
right.
will still happen.
The damage is really nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, and then like with Lucius forcing attack actions on him.
And one of his triggers, I think on a ram or something, they focus and then they take the attack. So he says, hey, Wishling Thrall, focus and attack, which could get that sweet 6 damage.
Oh, man.
So that's pretty good.
And then there's Etheric Blast.
Here.
Target suffers 3 blast and a 4 blast. And it has nothing, it has a built-in tomes.
So, and it's range 8 with no projectile.
Yeah, range 8.
So he just gets to do this. Or no randomizing.
And then with the tomes, it's Mind Blast. After succeeding, the target gains the following condition until end of turn. False Confidence. If this model's printed willpower stat is less than 6, this model's printed willpower stat counts as 6.
Okay.
So it becomes willpower 6.
Huh. So the target can't... it says counts as 6, which the only thing I can see is for its etheric... Or, yeah, I guess it bumps it up to 6. Oh, that's...
Oh, so we're gonna look something.
Well, it's for Sonya gets I think it's a positive twist against anybody that's
you're
willpower
right.
6.
You're correct. Yes.
I forget where that's at. Ancient Runes. This model gains positive to duels during cast actions.
Okay.
Target with. So this guy says, "Blah! I do my shooting and I turn you into willpower 6." And then Sonya's like, "Now I'm gonna blast the shit out of you."
Yeah, because
now it's only the target. So even if you get blasts, they don't get this false confidence. Only the target does. And then if you get a mask that's not built in.
After succeeding, push all models damaged by this action up to 3 in any direction.
So he gets to just rearrange whoever's damaged by it.
Which would work well for Sonya. Wow.
Again, right. If he does a blast and he tries to group people up for Sonya to get even better.
Yeah. And then
yank the chain tactical.
You need a 6 of anything to make it's cast 6, and to meet the target number of 12, you need 6 of anything. It's range 6. Push this model to base contact with target friendly model. This action must declare triggers if able. And there's only one trigger, which is angry.
So on a crow, you get angry.
After succeeding, this model must make a 1 melee attack action against the target if able. The opposing player controls this model for the duration of the action.
Of the act.
So you get the one.
So he's forced to attack the model that he's pushed towards, and your opponent will make the attack if you get the trigger.
Oh, okay.
So basically, you want to make sure that you have something in your hand to cheat. And here's the thing: even if it's a card that would fail, you want to be able to cheat it in so you don't succeed and don't get the crow.
Yeah.
Because you have to declare triggers, and it is his 0 action to move to do that. So it's very good. You just want to make sure you have the right things in hand before you try it.
So the Witchling Thrall, obviously the target masters for this. I mean, it's a pretty good minion.
So it's got the Witch Hunter synergy.
Yes.
Obvious with McCabe.
McCabe.
Or no, sorry, Lucius. I just get names mixed up.
Yeah.
So obvious with Sonya and the Witch Hunters, with Lucius, and then a little less so with lots of other masters.
Yeah, he's a nice. I mean, like for 9 soul stones, how much points difference is that from a Peacekeeper? A Peacekeeper is
12. So he's 3 points less.
For sturdy as hell. I mean, he's still sturdy. He's still pretty sturdy. He has impossible to wound.
And the funny thing is, he's differently sturdy than a Peacekeeper too.
Yeah.
Because he's got impossible to wound and 12 wounds instead of armor 2 12 wounds.
I'm thinking this is a really nice boon for Lucius.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're gonna bring if you're gonna bring Lucius, you're like Casey said was usually when you bring McCabe, like a really good minion to bring McCabe is Dawn Serpent. Dawn Serpent is
that's only for the 10 Thunders.
Yeah.
And before this, there were no like really big beater minions for
Actually,
the guild.
this would be a really good McCabe.
Exactly.
Guild,
think about Guild. Here's the minion he takes for reactivate.
Yeah.
He takes 1 Witchling Thrall and basically does what you do with the Dawn Serpent a lot of just that gets reactivated every turn.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna throw it in your face and.
Right, or even if you just don't like throw it totally in their face, it's always there as a threat. It even has a 10-inch or 8-inch threat on. Oh my god, so similar to the Dawn Serpent. Now, don't get me wrong, its range attack is not nearly as good, but a range attack that's range 8 with blasts.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's just a really solid beater.
Melee range 2, so he has a 10-inch threat.
Right.
10-inch threat.
And if McCabe reactivates him, that becomes an 18-inch.
So
that he could walk, charge.
That impossible wound can go a long way.
Or no, 20. Sorry, he'd walk, charge would be 20.
Usually, most things that have impossible wound usually have a relatively low defense, like defense 4 at times, but defense 5 is pretty.
Right.
It's average, but it's
with 12 wounds, man.
Yeah.
That takes 4 minimum 3 attacks.
Yes, to chop.
You know. So there's he can be quite a bit to chop.
He's pretty nifty. I like the Witchling Thrall. I think brings a lot too.
We're kind of talking earlier about how McCabe doesn't take the elixir of life as often as the others. Witchling Thrall.
Oh yeah, here have the elixir of life, dude. Yeah.
That's one where just keep regenerating.
Oh man, and then Lucius can infiltrate Terracotta Warriors. Oh, but then it doesn't matter because No, I was thinking if you find a way to bring.
Oh.
But there's no way to give minions upgrades from.
Ah, gotcha. But just lots of stuff.
Okay, yeah, I got some interesting combos there.
Okay. Well, so now getting into upgrades, the ones we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
So there's the first 2 that a lot of people are calling patch upgrades, where they cost 0 and they more or less patch a model.
Like Fuhatsu got it.
It gave him a melee attack so he can actually engage things.
What's his face? Who's the Strangler dude? Lee's playing with him right now.
Yeah. The
Montresor. The bear. Boris. The bear one's freaking hilarious.
The circus bear, yeah.
So Captain Dashel, he got arrest him. Pretty much what it does is it's a 0 cost soulstone upgrade. It gives him a 1 action called Arrest Him, which is a cast 6. It's resist by your walk.
So the higher walk, the better they'll resist. Yeah. But those walk 4 Reser zombies are going to have some trouble.
Oh yeah.
And range 6. So Dashel gets within 6 and he says, arrest him!
So summon a guild guard and base contact with target enemy model. The summoned guild guard suffers 1 damage. This action may only be taken once per turn. So
everybody was talking about how Dashel really needed, so there's a lot of times you don't take guild guard. They're supposed to be decent scheme runners, but now especially in this, you've got freaking reporters.
Yeah.
And how it'd be great if Dashel had some way to summon them.
Yeah.
And now he does. He can arrest them and bring a guild guard in. And it even adds to his Collier army. It didn't have any triggers before. Now it has Critical Strike and False Evidence. What False Evidence does is on a tome, after damaging, discard a friendly ski marker in line of sight to push the target up to its walk in any direction. So, discard friendly. Okay, so he discards a friendly ski marker and he pushes the target.
Yes.
And so he has a way to move people around now by shooting them, which, in theory, could put them right in the middle of where your gun line is ready to murder them.
Yep.
Oh, you're in cover? Well, I'm just going to wing you with my Collier army and then push you out. You know?
Color Army gets crit strike, and what was the other one? False Evidence?
False Evidence. False Evidence is the one that can move them.
Okay. So, I think that makes him better, because a lot of people weren't a big fan of him.
Well, he basically, his whole point is to buff other guardsmen, and in a lot of ways the other guardsmen were, Now, even if they kill the guardsmen around him, you can summon more guild guard to replace them and be good shooters.
And giving you a summoning option. And I remember that was one of the ones a lot of people on the forums were talking about, like, to make him the ability to summon guild guard. Which, I mean, guild guard aren't,
and so
they're not useless, but like there's so much better options out there than other
for spending 4 points. There's 1 point less and you have a hound, 1 point more and you've got same points for a witchling stalker.
Yeah,
One
which
or
is
two.
so good. Yeah.
Right. And so it seems, as a lot of people notice, Weird does seem to listen, and they did their own twist on the summoning.
Yeah.
For arrest him, and then
Executioner, which is so cool.
Executioner got a 0 action.
There's this really cool art that they show. They have a female Executioner, so that makes me wonder: are they going to do
from Gen Con? There are pictures of this alternate female Executioner. If I remember correctly, there were a bunch of alts. They had like an alt female Dashel, and I think this.
Wow, that's gonna be cool. Oh my gosh, because I love that. Like how the art is looks really cool.
Yeah.
Not sure if we can show it on camera. Whatever. So back to the upgrade, Executioner. So +1 walk, and this model gains the following ability: Ready to Work. When this model declares a charge action, it may discard a card.
No, discard
this upgrade to take the 2 charge action as a 1 action, which everyone knows, like the for that alpha strike.
Yeah. Well, and like you're saying, that's 3 attacks if you didn't have to walk in order to charge.
Yeah, and if they're scheme markers, which like with Nelly or what's her face with the eye.
Oh right, if you used her to play some scheme markers.
And then you charge in with him with that 1-2 punch.
Right, and even if he doesn't kill it, he can 0 action, remove a scheme marker, take a 1 melee. If he does kill it, you can eat the corpse marker to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it definitely helped them out.
Yeah, I mean they weren't terrible models. It's just that like they were a bit on the slow side.
Well, the thing was they almost never could do the job they were meant to do themselves. They'd always need to be thrown in a pine box to get them close enough, or something along those lines.
Or McCabe pushing them across the board.
Exactly, McCabe giving them that little push, giving them fleet. Now, with +1 walk, they're fast enough that they don't have to have those things. Those things are still really useful. They're really nice to have. Yeah. Oh, man. And now, some of these general upgrades are pretty nice. Curfew is a very weird one.
Curfew, okay, let's see.
So, it's rare 1, no other restrictions, so anybody in your force can have it, that as long as they can take upgrades. When this model ends its activation, if there are no friendly models available to activate, so if this model is your last model to activate, it may choose to discard this upgrade and a soul stone. So 1 soul stone in the upgrade.
Okay.
If it does, all enemy models that have not yet activated this turn gain the slow condition.
Oh, damn.
And both buried and in play. So if you're out activated by the enemy and you wait to activate the guy with curfew, he says, I'm invoking the curfew, and gives slow to everything on your enemy that hasn't activated
That can
yet.
be a really big game changer.
Yeah.
Like losing that AP.
Here's also the really weird thing.
That might be really good for Nelly. If you're running a super elite crew. I mean, anyone that's running a super elite crew.
Here, even let's go back to Dashel's new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dashel takes Arrest Him and Curfew. You wait for Dashel as your last model to activate. You invoke the Curfew, and then you use Arrest Him to summon a Guild Guard. And it's not amazing, but even though he was last, you still have a Guild Guard.
But I mean, for one turn though, like let's say you're going, because usually a lot of the times in Malifaux, this is my personal opinion, but on turn 2. Turn 2 and 3 are usually the really key turns.
Oh yeah, those are the key turns. Games are won and lost in turns 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like let's say start turn 2, you gave this to some just random mook. So
it's just as long as your last model to activate is the guy who's holding this.
Yeah.
I mean, Executioner, Dashel, one of your minion
and Guild is usually it's usually a lot more elite.
Francisco might hold it.
Yeah.
Whoever.
And then you invoke Curfew. And let's say, like, okay, I'm playing a Gremlin list. Well, you are losing... Let's say you had, like...
There's a lot of potential AP.
That's taken away. But then you gotta know when to use it. So I think this would probably be used, like, turn 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Turn 2 or 3 would be your ideal time.
So that's a really interesting one that you can bring. Then... You've got Numb to the World. This is also pretty interesting. So, non-master, rare 1. So, masters can't take it, and you can only have one of them. You've Numb to the World. This model may choose not to gain conditions applied by actions and abilities from enemy models. So, it's like it's pseudo-nihilism for your guys. So, you can choose not to gain conditions, and then Hard-Headed. When this model would take an action controlled by the opposing player, the player that hired this model may discard a card to prevent the action from being taken. So, somebody's like, I'm going to obey that model. Like, what's the Oni? What's her name that can force somebody, the enemy?
Oh yeah, Amenozaku.
Yeah, like Amenozaku goes, haha, you take an action. They're like, no, discard a card. I don't take an action. Kalodi does his thing like, I'm going to force you to take an action during your thing. No, I don't take that action.
You ditch a card.
You just have to discard a card. And when somebody gives you conditions, you can say, I don't gain that.
Yeah.
When enemies give you conditions. So friendly models giving you conditions, you still have to take them. But so that's a really interesting one that I think will probably see a decent amount of play.
I'm wondering...
I just don't know who
I'm seeing a lot of these, like, these rare 1 upgrades.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking a lot, because a major complaint about the latest Gaming Grounds was that there were certain factions that had a distinct advantage of show force.
Oh, ones that had like
recall training, survivalist.
Well, not survivalist.
Oathkeeper, imbued energies.
There's a few of those that are very good.
Yeah, and like Guild were like, oh, we have everything's like either 2 soul stones or 1, so we use I think these give Guild more options. Like I can actually.
And then actually, this is the one. So if we're gonna say the Guild's new equivalent to those things like imbued energies and stuff that they didn't have, that's debt to the Guild.
Okay.
So that one is non-master rare 3. Very much like a lot of those others. Rare 3, so you can have up to 3 of them.
It's 1 soulstone cost.
1 soulstone, that's all of these. Curfew, Numb to the World, and the new that we're talking debt to the Guild. So death does not release you. When this model is killed or sacrificed, this crew adds 1 soulstone to its soulstone pool. So you know how Oathkeeper gives you finish the job, imbued energies lets you draw 3 cards. This one gives you a soulstone if you die with it still on. Then, Paid in Blood. Once per game, at the start of this model's activation, it may choose to draw a card. If it does, for the remainder of the activation, all of its attack actions that deal damage deal +1 damage.
Oh!
So, it's turn 2. You're ready to charge with, that whatever it is.
Peacekeeper or...
Well, they can't take upgrade. Are they enforcers?
They're enforcers.
Perfect. You've got that Peacekeeper and you're like, I'm ready. I'm in position. I'm going to do my thing. I draw a card. So not only do I draw an extra card, now I have +1 to all my damaging attacks.
Min damage 4.
No.
Or they're 5.
It's 3. Built-in crit strike. Built-in that's 5.
Up to 6
if you cheat around.
Oh my god.
So we were talking about something that could take out the Witchling Thrall, but
2 hits.
but that's debt to the guild. And actually, here's the craziest thing. You know how all those others you have to discard the upgrade?
Mm-hmm.
This is once per game without discarding the upgrade.
So you still keep it. So if you have
actually,
fours.
in theory, guild now has a distinct advantage in some of those. Now, honestly, I don't think this is as strong as fast because fast lets you take a walk action and charge.
Yeah.
But this is super strong.
This makes them like show of force is not an
right.
non-take against guild. Guild have the option
guild can now dedicate to like, all right, I'm gonna play that game.
And considering guild also runs a lot of henchmen, so
they can and then debt to the guild. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. That was the last one, or is there more?
That's the last one for the guild.
And then we're gonna transition into. Let's do some of our closing thoughts.
Yeah.
I think the guild got a lot of really nice things. There's so far like the only thing I was kind of not fully impressed with was Allison, but she's still pretty good.
I know what you mean. There's the similar ones in other factions.
Yeah, she's probably like the least interesting, but overall everything is good. I love the upgrades. I really think Nelly has a lot of potential to become a very top tier master with how she interacts and in the hands of a really skilled player.
Yeah.
I think she's going to.
As long as you can figure out your resource management.
Yes.
Your cards in hand and your evidence.
Yeah.
Once you've got that nailed down, yeah.
And her henchman just makes her the henchman her henchman is phenomenal. Allison's okay. The field reporters are phenomenal minions. The Death Marshal recruiter, probably more of a I'm going to take it with Lady Justice, and then you could if you
have a trick.
Yeah, you have a trick you want to try.
If you have some trick, they're gonna do because they don't bring anything to any specific schemes or strategies. Like that somebody else doesn't do better, but then as long as you're running lots of marshals, they've
If you're doing a very Death Marshal, and then the Witchling Thrall is like Lucius and Sonya. I mean, you could take him in other crews.
One in McCabe.
And McCabe too. McCabe is a really good minion for McCabe and Guild.
Like Lucius might even take 2 of these guys just because they're such good minions.
Mm-hmm.
But like McCabe is 1.
Yeah.
He takes 1 to reactivate.
And then the upgrades are phenomenal. I think debt to the guild is probably going to be kind of standard.
We're going to see a lot of debt to the guild.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure who. I know Numb to the World is going to be fantastic at somewhere.
Overall, guild, you guys, it's Christmas for you. A lot of really good things. It does address some of the issues that guild did have before the release of Ripples of Fate. It's giving you guys a lot of really good things. I mean, I'm thinking overall this just gives everybody a lot of really cool stuff. All right, well, I think we'll end it right there. We're going to jump right into Rezzers next.
Yeah.
See you guys there.
All right.
Catch you later.